Hello and welcome. I have been collecting and experimenting with somatic exercises for almost 2 years. And on this page, I have shared 10 of my favorite combinations of ways that we can engage our senses and do somatic work. So these somatic exercises are intended to do 6 things. One, to slow us down, to just take a pause and a break throughout the day. And what that can do is it can help with the break on an escalating stress response. And when we can take these scheduled breaks to slow down, it can keep us from getting overwhelmed. That would drop us into the freeze response, that overwhelmed state, which we really want to avoid. We do not want to be overwhelming our bodies. So if we do them throughout the day before we need them, that's ideal. The second thing somatic exercises do is they bring us into the present moment to the greatest degree possible for our own nervous system at this time. And you will notice a huge difference from day 1 to day 10, from day 10 to day 10, 20, and day 30, and a year from now, and 2 years from now. We just get better and better and better at being able to come into the present and to stay in the present. Being in the present means we're in the parasympathetic, and that's where everything works optimally. It also connects us to our body, to our felt sense, to our feelings, to our intuition, to our inner world, to our place of power, our self-energy. Very, very important part of every human being's life and an essential part of our journey of addiction recovery. It also helps us meet and greet our physical sensations. And that is a very important life skill because most of us will have these activations in our systems and we fear them, or we've learned to very quickly, unconsciously, before we've even made a conscious choice, we will go seek out something to take the edge off that discomfort, to numb us out, disassociate, shut it down, suppress it, repress it. For us, we use and abuse food. But eventually, what we want to do is be able to get to the point where we can meet, greet any sensation in our body, pain, emotional pain, physical pain, any kind of stress, distress. We can meet it and say hello and welcome, and I'm right here. And then we can actually heal it, and we can hear it, and we can work with it, and we can get the true needs of our psychosocial emotional body met. Very, very importantly, what it also does is it gives us a little taste of what they call a felt sense of safety. When we drop into the parasympathetic and we slow down and we connect to the present and to our sensations and our feelings and our senses, the body has this experience of right here, right now, I'm safe. And that is not a state that's actually very common for most humans, especially those of us that are working with addiction and the use and abuse of food. So having a very small titrated experience of being safe, that's something we can grow and build on, but it starts here with these somatic exercises. And finally, the last thing it does is it deeply heals the body, deeply. These are the exercises that can help us heal trauma, but they can literally physically heal our bodies as well. When we're in the parasympathetic, that's where the body's in the rest and digest, the detox, repair, the growth. None of that happens if we're not in the parasympathetic. When we're in the stress state or the collapse state, the stress state or call it the freeze state, our bodies are in emergency, solitary defense states. They're dealing with threats. They're dealing with crisis. They're not in the rest, digest, detox, growth, and repair state. So if we need to detox our bodies, repair our bodies, heal, digest our food, eliminate all of those systems, all of our organs, if we want them working optimally and doing their jobs to both, keep us healthy and to restore our health, we have to be in the parasympathetic. There is no option. And that's what these little somatic moments do, is they drop us into the parasympathetic. And of course, the goal, the big term, long-term picture is that we'll spend more and more and more time present to the body in the present moment in the parasympathetic. So in the remainder of this video, I just kind of want to sort of pan out a little bit and do a big picture. So the path out of eating disorders, the use and abuse of food addiction, and the fundamental underlying condition of disconnection, the path out of all of that is reconnection. And the path out of disconnection is through. We have to go into. And Somatic exercises basically take us into the fire. There is no shortcut, no quick fix, no easy way to do this. This is the way. This is the way. There is no other way that I'm aware of, that we can't bypass this. We can't meditate our way through this. We can't pray our way through this. We can't. Abstinence doesn't do this either. Abstinence makes it possible for us to do this work, to drop into the body, into the present moment, drop into the parasympathetic, to connect with self energy, to be present to our bodies and to our senses. Most of us cannot handle what we experience when we are fully, open-heartedly inhabiting our bodies. It feels overwhelming. It can feel terrifying. It can feel unsafe. We can be met with a cacophony of messages, fears, demands, pain, overwhelm, and the neediness of it and the overwhelm of it all can be too much. We might even encounter grief, anger, stored trauma, terror, and despair. So who the heck would want to drop into all that? Well, we have to learn how to be able to drop into all that. And these somatic exercises will teach us in a very safe, very, very, very safe and gentle way how to slowly become more present to our bodies and the moment. Yeah, what else to say? The goal of these exercises is not necessarily to make us feel good, but they typically do, because being in the parasympathetic is the equivalent of paradise on earth. But mostly what they're trying to help us do is become more comfortable becoming present. And when we connect with negative emotions and sensations and distress in there, that's great. But we only want to be doing that for a few seconds. They're meant to get our attention. They're meant to hurt. They're meant to be motivating. They're meant to mobilize us, but we're not supposed to linger there. And so that is the second half of what somatic exercises does. These somatic exercises are just helping us get present. And then the second part of the equation is the felt sense, doing that felt sense work, which I teach in a different handout, a different bit of work that I do with people. So part one is to get present. Part two is to learn what to do when we get present, to be with the body. I call it the ABCs. But we want to connect with the negative energy. We just don't want to get sucked into it and get stuck there. Yeah, so I think that's all I want to say. It's really great. One of the best practices is to find a quiet, calm, peaceful, safe place to do this 3 times a day would be ideal. And eventually you do these long enough with the guided exercises that I teach you until you internalize them and you can do them for yourself. And then you can do them anytime, anywhere. And ideally, long before you need them, way before you're overwhelmed and you start collapsing. You want to do it throughout the day just to keep ourselves paced and present and resourced and accessing self-energy and turning down the dials on our saboteurs and food thoughts and food urges. I hope you love these exercises and I hope they change your life. They will not change your life in the first time you do them, but I guarantee you over the weeks, you will notice a difference. You truly will. Something very remarkable is happening every single time you do one of these exercises. Every single time they're doing something good and it will accumulate. And one day you'll go, wow, I am different. I am way more present. I am way more in the parasympathetic, way less stressed and way less, in that state of overwhelm, which can lead to the collapse. I hope you love these. Catch you later.